Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning to you, and welcome back to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I did. And boy, talk about some beautiful fall weather. My goodness gracious. Here in southern Oklahoma, it was in the mid-70s, even the early 80s, lower 80s. My goodness, it was beautiful. Fantastic times. Anyway, we are continuing our study of the 70 weeks of Daniel chapter 9. This is in response to your request. Of course, a lot of the questions that have been asked have to do with, well, what about the gap in Daniel chapter 9? Believe me, we're going to get to that. Okay, in the meantime, what I'm examining each one of the 6 constituent elements of Daniel chapter 9, verse 24, showing that they all belong to a given framework, a given time context that cannot be ignored. Now, we come to one of the most significant elements. When I say one of the most significant elements, all of the 6 constituent elements are equal. But this element has been a source of fascination to me for years and years. Quick anecdote. I was once friends with a man who was a world-class scholar. He could read the Hebrew better than I can read English. He knew the Greek to the same degree. He was just an awesome Bible scholar, many, many ways. He was preaching in a gospel meeting, revival, whatever term you'd like to use, and went up to him afterwards. We were small talking and everything, and I asked him, pardon me, what does Daniel mean in Daniel 9:24 when it says 70 weeks are determined to seal vision and prophecy? Without the slightest hesitation, he quoted Daniel 9:24 from the Hebrew and said, seal vision and prophecy means to fulfill all prophecy. To put the final stamp of approval, vindication on all of the prophets through their fulfillment. Well, I was stunned. I'd been doing research up to that point and realized that's what all the commentators say, all right? But here is a man who was a futurist, but he was a Hebrew scholar, first of all, and he told me emphatically what that term means: seal, vision, and prophecy. He very clearly did not see the implications of the meaning of that phrase because he was still a futurist. Now look, in the research for the writing of this little book, Seal It, Vision, and Prophecy, I was stunned, literally stunned and amazed, that in the commentaries there is extremely little disagreement as to the meaning of seal, vision, and prophecy. Now, a little caveat here. There are some who try to make this phrase, seal, vision, and prophecy, to refer to just the prophecy of Jeremiah in Jeremiah 29, the 70-week prophecy. Or excuse me, the 70-year prophecy of the Babylonian captivity. That doesn't work. There is no definite article in the Hebrew. So in other words, Daniel 9:24 is not talking about the fulfillment of one prophecy. It is, as the Hebrew scholars note, a comprehensive term, phrase: seal, vision, and prophet. Not just any vision and prophet, not a specific vision and prophet, but vision and prophet comprehensively considered. Now, that is a consensus in the scholarship. Are there those who disagree with it? Well, of course. There are those who take the position that Daniel 9:24 and following is a prediction of the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. And man, do they ever do some verbal gymnastics and theological gymnastics, in my view, in order to make that work. Nonetheless, I want to share with you today, and I'll have to pick up on the significance and the meaning of this tomorrow, but I want to share with you just a few of the quotes that I have gleaned from the commentators. Some of the best commentators of commentaries on the book of Daniel that have ever been written. This is not a comprehensive list. I'm not claiming that. I haven't chosen them selectively. I simply picked up the commentators and read what they had to say, and I'm sharing these quotes in my book, Seal Up Vision and Prophecy, with you. Prophecies and prophets are sealed when by the full realization of all prophecy, prophecy ceases. No more prophets anymore appear, unquote. The impression of the translators being that all visions and prophecies were to receive completed fulfillment in the course of the 70 weeks. It appears to be more agreeable to the context to suppose that the prophet is speaking of the absolute cessation of all prophecy, unquote. Quote, the reference is not to the accrediting of the prophecy, but to the sealing it up so that it no longer appears. Its functions are finished and it is not henceforth needed, unquote. In other words, the prophecies are fulfilled. Quote, the words taken together refer to the final fulfillment of revelation prophecy, i.e., when their functions are shown to be finished. Now look, I've got a whole bunch more quotes, but do you catch the power of what these commentators are saying? Now again, I'm fully aware that there are commentators who say this is a reference to the singular prophecy of Jeremiah, or this is a reference to the singular prophecy of Daniel chapter 9 that was supposedly fulfilled in the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. Well, once again, that flies in the face of the bulk of the consensus of scholarly citations. And again, let me remind you, this is some of the greatest scholars, Hebrew scholars that have ever lived and ever written. There's not a 100% consensus, but I want to tell you, there is a tremendous sense of agreement in the scholarly world that seal up vision and prophecy refers to the final fulfillment of all prophecies. Keep in mind, the language, the linguistics, the grammar does not refer to a single prophecy, but to all vision and all prophecy. And that means that Daniel chapter 9 was predicting the fulfillment of all prophecy by the end of the 70 weeks. The implications of this are absolutely astounding, and they are fatal to any futurist view of eschatology. That is why some have abandoned this consensus view and taken the view that, oh, hey, Daniel 9 has nothing to do with messianic prophecy, has nothing to do with Jesus, has nothing to do even with AD 70. We're going to show you that view is completely untenable. You don't want to miss. In the meantime, go to my website, get a copy of my book, Seal Up Vision and Prophecy. You'll be glad that you did. You'll be amazed at the evidence that I adduce in this. You will see what the testimony, what the evidence truly is. Go there to my website, donkpreston.com, Bible Prophecy, and order the book. You'll be glad you did. In the meantime, we'll see you on the flip side.